Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Grishman Ashish, please switch on the video. Mehak is absent today also. Yesterday also she was absent for 2 hours. Okay, did you do the homework? Which was the disorder that is depicted in that movie? Hey Jude. Amal. Amal. Amal Raj. Only one Amal today. Did you find out?
No, ma'am.
I knew it. Why? Why? Why, man? Huh? Forgot. Nice smile. Others, did you find out?
Yes, ma'am.
Ashish, did you go to Google? And which disorder is it? Which syndrome? You had a haircut, Ashish? What happened? Seems like you're very shy today. What happened, Ashish?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So which disorder is it? Hair looks fine, no problem at all.
Autism.
Autism. Autism. Sure.
Yes.
Any other name for that?
Balance I forgot.
Balance you forgot. Okay. Is it autism spectrum disorder?
There is something like that.
Something like that. Okay. Any other answers other than autism spectrum disorder? Hmm? No. Have you seen that movie?
Asperger's syndrome.
Asperger's syndrome. It is Asperger's syndrome, which is a part of autism spectrum. Okay. All right. So obviously we'll be dealing with who's this now? We'll be dealing with autism spectrum disorders and take page number 83. We'll quickly finish the portion and see a video. And the seminar people, please get ready because we have, I think, one more portion to complete. One or two. After that, we'll begin with the seminars. Try and make presentations, PowerPoint presentations, add more pictures than writings. No need of much writings because you can speak about it. Whatever you have understood, you can present it with the help of lots of pictures. Pictures or videos as you wish. Fine. Okay, so autism spectrum disorder is characterized by widespread impairments in social interaction and communication skills and stereotype patterns of behaviors, interests, and activities. Underline that. Social interaction and communication, there is a problem there. Then stereotype patterns of behaviors. What do you mean by stereotype behaviors? Any idea? Stereotyped behaviors. Stereotype behaviors. No. Okay. That mainly deals with repetitive behaviors without any particular reason. This stereotype behaviors are seen in several disorders, including autism spectrum, schizophrenia, and all. Repetitive behaviors will be there, which does not have a particular function. See, just now Ashish did like this, no? This is an action. This is a behavior. And he is worried about his hair. That's why he is doing like that. Hmm? And he wants to groom himself. That's why he is repeating that behavior. That behavior has a function there. Understood? But these people who has autism problems, or maybe in schizophrenia also we can see such types of behaviors. They do the actions without any particular reason, which does not have a particular function. Have you observed children with autism spectrum disorders? They simply do like this and all, or they'll just flap their hands, rock themselves in chairs, or simply keep on fidgeting. Yes, have you seen? Have you observed? Yes.
Yes.
So all these comes under stereotyped behaviors, stereotyped patterns of behaviors, which means repetitive behaviors, repeated behaviors, which is not functional, which means it does not have any adaptive reason, adaptive function. Understood? Yes. And why did we call Ashish's behavior as adaptive? Why is it not stereotyped? It is because it has a function. He's trying to adapt to the situation that we are in right now. If he is alone, he does not have to groom himself, isn't it? Yes? Unless you're too much worried about your self care, you will not do it. Yes. All right. Then, children with autism spectrum disorder have marked difficulties in social interaction and communication across different contexts. A restricted range of interests and a strong desire for routine. They most of them follow a particular routine. They have to wake up at this time. They have to eat their breakfast at this time. They have to have their lunch at this time. They have to go to school at this time. If suppose if there is a person following this type of routine, and usually the person eats his or her lunch at 1 p.m. And on a particular day, the mother forgot to wake up early. So because of that, most of the things of the day are running late. So the lunch also was prepared late. And how do you think these people would react? They are already following a routine. They used to eat at 1 p.m. and on that particular day, the lunch is not ready at 1 p.m. How would you think they'll react? Think and tell me.
They would act violently.
They would act violently. Okay. Then only violence.
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Yes. Then. Will they feel irritated? Yes. Of course. So they'll show behaviors related to these things, isn't it? Yes. And that's why it said they follow a particular routine. Most of them follow a particular routine. Then they have difficulties in social interaction. They have problems in communicating with people. They have communication issues. Then communication across different contexts, we already told. Then a restricted range of interest. If you have seen that movie again, Hey Jude, you can see that the character is very much interested in aquatic things, study of aquatic animals and the oceans and all those things. That interests this character. And that is why it is called a restricted range of interests. Like we people have a wide variety of interests, isn't it? Sometimes we like to listen to music, sometimes we like dancing, sometimes we like playing games, sometimes we like sleeping, sometimes we like only eating and sleeping, sometimes we make an effort to study. Yes, isn't it? We have a wide range, but these people have a restricted range of interests, and so they'll be engaged in those kind of activities only, not the others. Okay. Then, children with autism spectrum disorder experience profound difficulties in relating to other people. As I told you before, they have problems in interpersonal relationships. especially because they cannot communicate properly to other people. They cannot relate to other people. Suppose if somebody falls down and only this person suffering from this particular disorder is there, and if they can't relate to the person, will they be able to help them? No, isn't it? They'll simply stand and watch the person falling, or they'll just walk away. They'll just ignore the person falling. But if it is us, we'll at least feel for them. At least we'll have some sympathy or empathy for them, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Then they are unable to initiate social behavior and seem unresponsive to other people's feelings. Same point we discussed now. They are unable to share experiences or emotions with others. They also show serious abnormalities in communication and language that persist over time. Their communication problems, their language problems, all these persist over a period of time. That does not occur for one situation or two situations. This lasts for a very long time. That is why it is called, it is persisting. The language problems and communication problems. It is long lasting or persisting. Then, many of them never develop speech, and those who do have repetitive and deviant speech patterns. Now, next problem is the speech patterns. We discussed about socializing problem, communication problem, language problem. Now, this is speech. Some children or some people, some individuals, they do not develop speech. And if some people do, they have a disturbed form of speech. Understood? It would not be normal like others. If you have seen children with autism, you can really observe that their speech is not normal like the rest of us. Okay. And because of that, it's very difficult for the other people to understand that also, that form of speech. It requires special training, especially the primary caretaker, mother, father, they would be knowing, they would understand. But the other people, strangers, wouldn't understand their speech if they are meeting them for the first time. It's very difficult to understand that. Okay. Then, so that is deviant speech patterns. In speech, also, they might show repetitive form of speaking. Same thing might be said again and again. Okay. Where did we see the symptom? In which other disorder did we see this symptom? Talking about the same thing again and again, repeatedly. Recently. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Make a wild guess. Clue is in the question.
Schizophrenia.
Yes, schizophrenia. Then, was it a wild guess? Yes. Okay. Then, uh, yeah, where did we reach? Yes, deviant speech patterns. Then, such children often show narrow patterns of interest and repetitive behaviors, such as lining up objects or stereotype body movements, such as rocking. Stereotype body movements we already discussed, and narrow pattern of interest. That is the narrow range. We already discussed there is a restricted range of interest for these people. That's the same thing. Okay. And these motor movements may be self stimulatory, such as hand flapping. That's the thing I told you, hand flapping. Have you seen birds flap their wings? Then only they can fly. Just like that, these children or these individuals flap their hands. That is one example of self stimulatory behavior. And in autism spectrum disorders, we call it stimming. 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 If you hear about stimming, that relates to these type of behaviors, stereotype behaviors. It can be hand flapping, it can be rocking, simply rocking the body. Have you heard of rocking chair that goes back and forth? Yeah, simply they'll sit and rock. Even if they're not sitting in a rocking chair, they'll simply do that. Then pacing back and forth. back and forth, walking back and forth. That is again a stereotype pattern of behavior. Then, or self-injurious types of behaviors is also seen. For example, banging their heads on the wall, continuously banging the head, even if it is injurious to them, even it is harming them, they'll keep on doing this unless somebody stops this person from doing this behavior. Constantly banging the head on the wall. That is also one form of such behavior. Then, due to the nature of these difficulties in terms of verbal and non-verbal communication. So, communication problems not only in terms of speech, it occurs also in terms of non-verbal things like actions, gestures. Hmm? Suppose I am taking lecture and you are hungry. It is already time for lunch break, and I'm still continuing the lecture, and you are hungry. Hmm? You cannot talk in the class because the fan is turned off and there is no other sound other than my sound. And I turn towards the board side for writing something. How will you communicate each other that you're hungry or you're fed up?
Body language.
Body language. Can you show me one expression? Anyone? Any action or expression or anything? At least once in life, you might have done this for sure, isn't it? If not at school, at least at home. Like now, how would you show that you're hungry? Yeah. Other than that, show me a pathetic expression, Reina. You're fed up of this lecture and you want to run after the class to eat your food. That is enough. More than enough. Okay. So we know to communicate like that also, isn't it? Non-verbal communication. And I think at school, most of the people engage in non-verbal communication rather than speaking up. And here also in class, I have to understand from your body language what you're feeling and what you're meaning most of the time when you're muted. So we can communicate a lot through actions, gestures, and body language plus our speech. Yes. Yes. So these children or these individuals with autism spectrum disorders, they have problems in both verbal communication, also difficulties in non-verbal communication, and because of that, they cannot maintain relationships. Not maintain relationship, they cannot start or initiate a particular relationship. If they start or initiate only, they can maintain that relationship, isn't it? So the first step is already gone wrong, then that means the maintenance of relationship will also go wrong. That's the last point there. They tend to experience difficulties in starting, maintaining, and even understanding relationship. So if I am a person with autism spectrum disorders, I cannot initiate or I cannot start a relationship with you. Whatever kind of relationship it may be, I cannot start a relationship with you. Because of that, I cannot maintain relationship with you. And also, if all of you are having a relationship, you're classmates, you're friends, but I cannot understand that relationship if I'm having these problems. Understood? I cannot comprehend. I cannot understand what kind of relationship you're in, or I cannot understand the concept of relationship itself. Got it? Yes. So, which are the main problems that we are dealing with in autism spectrum disorder? Communication problems, socialization problems. Communication, you have to write both verbal and non-verbal. Then relationship problems, speech, that is one problem. Then stereotype behaviors. It can be self-stimulatory and self-injurious. Self-stimulatory example, hand flapping. Self-injurious example, head banging on the wall. Then what else? Relationship problems, I already told you. Then interest, restricted range of interests. These are the main symptoms. Okay. Yes. And I think, yeah, we have plenty of time. We'll finish this portion, intellectual disability and specific learning disorder, and then we'll see a video on autism. Hmm? Okay. Grishma, can you read? The coming up portions we have already studied in previous classes, so just listen.
You have already read about variations in intelligence in Chapter 1. Intellectual disability refers to below average intellectual functioning with an IQ of approximately 70 or below and deficits or impairments in adaptive behavior, that is, in the areas of communication, self care, home living, social or interpersonal skills, functional, academic skills, work, etc., which are manifested before the age of 18 years. Table
Okay.
4.2 describes characteristics of the intellectually disabled persons.
Yes. Okay. We have already dealt with the intellectual giftedness and disability, isn't it? Intellectual deficiency. That's the same thing. Not the giftedness, the disability part. The IQ score, if a person gets an IQ score below which value?
70.
70. That comes under this category. People with intellectual disability. And which were the 4 categories of intellectual disability based on the severity?
Mild, moderate,
Hmm.
severe.
One more. Mild, moderate,
Moderate.
severe, and
Profound.
profound. Mild, moderate, severe, and profound. These are the 4 categories of intellectual disability or intellectual deficiency. So, mild or profound, who can manage the things on their own if they are given training?
Mild.
Mild. And people with profound intellectual disability or deficiency, they are very difficult to deal with. They need a person to take care of them always. They cannot even take care of themselves. Personal care is very poor for people with profound mental deficiency or disability. Just look at page 85, table 4.2. Just go through that. Areas of functioning are given. Self-help skills. How are the self-help skills differing in these categories? Then speech and communication. How is it different in the different categories? You have to study this table. Please mark and keep. Then academics. Can they be trained? Can they study? How well can they deal with the academics? Then social skills. Can they make friends? Can they deal with relationships? All those facts are there. Then vocational adjustment. Vocational adjustment means how much they can do a particular work or job. Are they capable of doing a job? Are they capable of fulfilling the role of a particular working person? Then adult living, that is marrying, uh, means the concepts of marriage, having children, all those facts are discussed there, the last portion. Just read through it quickly. Most of it is self-understandable, and we have already discussed this in the previous chapter. So just read. You have to understand this, that whatever areas of functioning we are dealing with, it will be the most difficult for people with profound mental deficiency. And it'll be very easy. I mean, as compared to profound, it will be very easy for the people with mild. So even if you don't uh, get the actual terms, write it with common sense. Okay. People with mild will find it much easier than the people with profound in dealing with different things. Fine. Just read, just read. I'll give you 2 minutes. Read that table. Ashish, read. Read, read. Meanwhile, I'll just mark your attendance. Anna is absent, right? What do you mean by receptive language and expressive language? Expressive language means? Hmm? From the word, what do you think it is? Expressive language. The language we used to? Language we used to
Express.
express something. That in the last column you can see receptive language is limited and expressive language is poor, which means if they have any need, or if they are hungry, if they are thirsty, if they are irritated, if they are emotionally down, they cannot express properly to other people. Hmm? That is very poor. Expressive language is very poor in people with severe and profound intellectual disability. Okay, and receptive language means the opposite, entirely opposite. The language with which we can understand things, we can comprehend things. Okay. Any other words that you don't know? Throat pain. And why are you telling me that? Ashish? Did you think that I asked you to read aloud? Ashish, I asked you all to sit and read silently, not read aloud. He's telling me that he has throat pain. Poor fellow. So, in which category will be dependency on others more? Which people will be dependent more on others?
Severe or profound.
Severe or profound? Finished? Okay. Now, the last portion in that category, specific learning disorder. We have already learned about learning disability, no? Remember? We learned so many points about learning disability. Can you give a brief idea of it? Learning disabilities. Any one point per person at least? Meghna?
They don't grasp exactly the meaning there, and they are not accurate or efficient in that.
Hmm. Okay. They'll have problems in certain skills. Which are they? Mime.
Reading and writing skills.
reading, writing, then
Processing information.
processing information. Think of the skills that you were tested for the CBSE. Reading skills are tested, writing skills are tested. Then your mathematical skills. Then when you have to, you know about IELTS exam, IELTS. Yes. Which all skills you have to pass for that?
Speaking,
Speaking skills,
writing, and
writing, reading, all those stuff. Okay. So again, take page number 84. In case of specific learning disorder, the individual experiences difficulty in perceiving or processing information, underline, perceiving or processing information efficiently and accurately. Efficiently and accurately. These get manifested during early school years and the individuals encounters problems in basic skills such as reading, writing, and or mathematics, speaking also. Then the affected child tends to perform below average for her or his age. Remember when we started learning about neurodevelopmental disorders, we discussed about this. There will be delay in certain developments from the normal developmental age. Okay. Then, however, individuals may be able to reach acceptable performance levels with additional inputs and efforts. Specific learning disorder is likely to impair functioning and performance in activities or occupations dependent on the related skills. Suppose if a person is having um, writing problems in writing skills, more problems in writing skills. Specific learning disorder with more problems in writing skills. Can he or she become an author?
No.
What if they can speak really well and I can write for them? Understood? Like they cannot write properly, but they can speak properly. Speaking skills are fine. Speaking skills are above average. So if they can tell me a story, then I can write it for them, right? So the thing is, whichever field or whichever area they are having a problem in, they have to be trained in that particular field. That is, more training has to be given in that particular field, whichever field they are having impairments in. Then only they can function normally. It's not as serious as we all think. Even if a problem comes in the reading skills, then more training has to be given for reading. Again, common sense. Okay, that is specific learning disorder. So reading, writing, mathematics, all these problems might come. The highlight of this disorder is the perception and the processing of information. Problems in perceiving and processing of a particular piece of information. That's all. Fine, we'll see a video and come back. Did you notice the therapies given? We'll learn about that in the next chapter. Next chapter is about all the therapies, therapeutical approaches. Will be nice turning and okay. Did you notice that the child was sitting and playing on the floor when the mother or that female figure was crying? That suggests that they cannot understand other people's emotions. Or they cannot perceive what's happening there. Okay. They cannot feel for others. That's why they cannot maintain proper relationships. And again, coming back to that film's example, the character complains that I think beans or something, some vegetable is overcooked or undercooked or half boiled or something. He usually has it with a particular what do you call it? It should be cooked in a particular way for him. That is done usually. But on that particular day, his mother did it in some other way. It got overcooked or undercooked or something, and he was complaining the entire day for that. And he refused to eat it. So there is a particular routine and certain orderliness followed by these people. So, can you do you feel any similarity between these symptoms and some other disorder? These orderliness and all these things. Not schizophrenia. Mm. Mm. Mm.
Bipolar.
Bipolar is about two extremes of emotions, right? Not bipolar. Orderliness, ordering things in keeping.
OCD.
OCD, yes. So there are chances that we confuse with OCD and autism spectrum related disorders. Okay, there is a chance that we confuse. So, can we write this as a differential diagnosis? You remember what differential diagnosis was? Differential diagnosis means, did you see ICD that I sent to you? I've put that in the group. Please refer when you have time. Okay, and there you can see a heading called differential diagnosis. There we write the disorders which should not be diagnosed as this. Suppose for autism, we can write OCD there as differential diagnosis because we have to differentiate between OCD and autism spectrum disorders because they are different. Similar symptoms might be there, but they are different disorders. They have different set of guidelines, diagnostic guidelines. Okay, that's it. Next, we have to complete disruptive impulsive control and conduct disorders and substance related and addiction. That's it. The last topic I'll just take as a brief portion and then we'll conduct the seminars. Okay, so I think tomorrow, not tomorrow, by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll be able to finish the entire portion and we'll start the seminars. So be prepared. Fine. Yeah, that's it. Any doubts? Any doubts? No chance. Thank you then. Bye.